Hi you guys, welcome to my channel for the first time. Not the last, but this is the first. So I'm Elisa, welcome to my channel. I'm just starting something new, but I want to thank you guys for embracing my something new and being a part of this. This is going to be great. I have a lot of things that I want to talk about. A lot of things we're going to talk about. So, it's going to be a good channel. But today's topic, I'm just going to get started with you guys. I wanted to talk about what I think are some of the biggest mistakes that women make in dating. Dating today is extremely hard, to say the least. I think the easiest way to put it is I think today, dating is a game that you feel like you can't win. Y'all agree with me? It's very hard. It's very hard to figure people out. It's hard to figure out people's intentions, and you can feel like you are wasting a lot of time when you're dating and trying to figure these people out because, no one wants to be upfront. No one wants to say what they really mean. No one's honest about their intentions, and it can be exhausting. But I do have, and in reading an article too, just some ideas and things that I think women do, particularly for women, and we'll do both sides. Don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to help my ladies out here, so all of my, videos or advice are not just going to be one-sided. It's going to be for both sides. But today I am strictly talking to my ladies because I want to help y'all out there. It's not easy. Trust me, I know, I get it. I'm sorry. Come to mama, let me give you a hug. We bring you to my bosom because I know, I get it. Trust me, I understand. So let's just talk about it. So the first one on my list that I think women do too much of, and I think we can kind of confuse it with being open and honest and transparent. And literally it's just telling him all of your business. Like, this man that you just met does not need to know absolutely everything about you up front. He doesn't. There are some things, and this can go for either side. There are some things that are, need to know information. If you have children, if your ass is in a relationship of any sort, like, that's on a need to know basis. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's not for those games. So those are need to know things, but he does not need to know how you got that scar on your knee when you were in 3rd grade on date 1. Like, it's not necessary. Like, don't go that deep. You got to build up to it. You want to leave some suspense, and you want that person to get to know you over time. But if you were just spewing out everything, and this is not just for a first date, but if you are spewing out everything in like the first week, even the first month, sometimes it can be overwhelming, and you don't need to do all of that. Slowly but surely open yourself up, share yourself, your thoughts, your ideas, your goals, over time, if it's working out that way. Because what you also don't want to do is spend so much time giving all this information to this person, and then in a week they're gone. Y'all are done already. So, and then you feel drained. You've given all this information to someone that's not even going to stick around. So just don't drain yourself, because that will become exhausting. You don't want to burn yourself out. And unfortunately, there's no easy way to date. The only easy way to get through it is to do it until you find your someone, but that's just number one. Also, don't tell a guy that he's the only one you're talking to. Even if he's the only one you're talking to. It might sound like a game, but it's not. Like, I don't want you, women want to appear to be, that loyal, I don't even know what else to call it. You just want to appear to be loyal, You don't owe nobody no loyalty on day one. You don't. That's the reality. You should be out here dating whoever. If you're just dating, you're entitled to date whoever you want to date, and that's just it. And you can almost guarantee that the man you were sitting across from, if y'all are on a date, or the person that you were talking to on the phone after y'all just started talking, you can always guarantee that he is talking to more than one woman. And you are not the first one. You're not the only one. It's a safe assumption, I would say. It's a very, very safe assumption, I would say, in most cases. Now, mind you, that's also none of your business. As long as he is not in a committed relationship, he's not married, you know, the need to know questions we were talking about earlier, you know, those are things you need to know. But if that's not his situation and he's just out here dating casually, now he's dating casually with no intention, that's a whole something else. I won't get into that. But just in general, you know, you can't say anything about him dating, you know, just being out here dating more than one person. That's what he chooses to do. As long as he's not, you know, seriously involved with anyone or more than one person, and, you know, dating to get to know, to figure it out kind of thing. But yeah, he doesn't need to know that. Like, that is none of his business. You know, he doesn't have a right to ask you that. The only time someone has a right, when it becomes a right for them to ask that, is if they're truly trying to make it something serious. When they are really talking relationship and commitment and exclusivity. Not even just exclusivity, because, you know, there's a lot of gray areas with a lot of words, you know, and people will take an inch and run a mile with it. So not even exclusive, but relationship. So you want to make sure that, you know, okay, you know, this, you know, I want us to move forward. You know, I'm ready to make a commitment. I just want to make sure I'm the only one, or whatever the case is. That's the only time you should talk about it. Other than that, it's none of his business. And sis, you should keep your options open. You just should. You know, there's no guarantee that this man, you may like him, he may be fine as all get out, but if he has not made any commitments or movements toward a commitment, you don't owe him nothing. You don't owe him nothing, and you should be dating, and you better be dating. And I'm gonna check up on you, so you better be dating, or I'm gonna hook you up with somebody. So, you know, hey. Also, where you can go wrong. This is a third point here. Where we can go wrong, really wrong, when you start dating someone new or talking to someone new, is telling him exactly what you are looking for in a man. And I mean, like, the qualities, you know, the goals, the aspirations. You know, I want him to be this and driven and very romantic, and I like flowers on Wednesday. When you get that specific, you are giving this man a blueprint to pretend to be who you want. You just told him. You just painted the entire picture. You just wrote it down for him, and he will remember those things. And a lot of men, whether they do have good intentions or they don't have good intentions, they will still pretend to be that man. Because you said specifically that's what you're looking for. So if that man sitting across from you does not have good intentions, they now have the blueprint to get to you and your feelings and your heart, because you told them exactly what you want, exactly what is attractive. And most of those things are very easily attainable. You know, you're not asking for a man like sitting across from him like, oh, I want a man to buy me a jet. You know, most men cannot pretend and do that for you, right? You know what I mean? Not even, it doesn't even have to be material. But what I'm saying is, most things that women say that they want is very obtainable, or it's very easy to pretend to be. Now, if they're pretending, of course, it's not going to hold up long. They don't need it to hold up long. They only need it to hold up as long as they need it to hold up, so they can get whatever they want to get from you, whatever that is. You know, we usually know what that is, but that's what you don't want, is someone to just, and then you feel robbed. You'll feel robbed, you'll feel betrayed, because this person pretended to be someone that they're not, just to get something from you and go. You know, and so you don't want to give yourself that. But let me give you, listen to this. Listen to this verbatim. This is a very, very easy answer that you can give to that question. When a man asks you, what are you looking for in a man? Now, outside of saying that you may want, you know, and the truth may be that you want something more serious. You're looking for a lifelong partner. That could be very well be true. We're talking about getting into the specifics of how a man acts on a day-to-day basis. But a very easy statement that you can give, you can just tell them, I am looking for a man to be himself. And if he is himself, I will be able to tell if he is the man for me. And that's it. That's it. You didn't give him any clues. You didn't give him any hints. And what you said is not wrong. What you told this man is be yourself. Be exactly who you are. Whoever you are is. Be that person. And I will be able to tell if it's a match for me. That way you take away the idea or the opportunity for them to pretend to be who you want them to be. So now they have to put in the work to figure out what it is that you like. And that is okay. That's what dating is. Even if you're seriously dating, you have to put in the work to find out what it is that your partner likes. Now, they can drop hints, or you may take notice in their patterns or things they look at, or, whatever. That's fine. And I'm not saying everything has to be a guessing game. But up front, I just want to see who you are. And I'll learn you as I ask questions, as I'm around you. If I talk to you, the consistency in your conversation, the consistency if when I hear from you, or if I hear from you, when. Like, are you always hitting me up at certain times of day and then I don't hear from you after a while? Like, you gotta start paying attention to red flags. But again, all you have to tell a man when he says, what are you looking for? Say, I'm looking for a man to be himself. And if it is a match, I will know. If it matches with what I need and want, I will know. And I'll be able to figure that out. And that's it. That is it. That is the key, y'all. Write that down, okay? Record this, save this video. Remember this when you were out dating. Because they can come back and say, oh, well, I still want to know. Just be yourself. Do what you think is right. Treat me how you think I should be treated. Because that will speak volumes. How they end up treating you will speak volumes. But let them do it, because if they're the type of man that buys flowers, they will buy you flowers, whether you said you like them or not. They're going to do it anyway. He is going to be exactly who he is, no matter what you say at that table, or what you say on the phone, or what you say in text message. He's going to be exactly who he is. Let him be who he is, and don't give him any blueprint or directions specifically to cheat you. Okay? Write it down. I'm going to give y'all, I'm going to jot it down. And that kind of goes into point 4, which is being too honest. That also kind of goes into telling someone all of your business as well. Like sometimes you can be a little too honest about your situations and really scare somebody off. I'll give you an example because it can be kind of vague. I remember a long time ago, I had went on a date. And it was our first date. And I remember him, telling me like, ultimately he wants to be, married, and have children or whatever, which is fine. That's not something that would scare me off if you say that early. Okay, fine. What did make it a little too far and too honest is he kept talking about marriage on the date. And I mean, like, kept talking about it. And then fast forward towards like the end of the day, I think we were just like walking to our cars or something. And he's like, do you want to hear the song that I want to play at my wedding? And I was like, I mean, if you want me to hear it. I mean, I didn't know what to say. It was an awkward moment. I really didn't want to hear it. I didn't need to know. This is date 1. So I don't need to know what song you want to play at your wedding. Like, that's too much. That's too fucking much. Like, I don't know another way to put it. It's too much. And I'm telling y'all, like, this really happened. Like, I have some of the craziest date stories. I've told them on my Facebook Lives, kind of made it a thing. But I might do videos specifically of them so they're up here for people to see them. But that was an instance. You're being way too honest. You're telling me way too much of your business. I think the song was like Gerald Levert. I'm not playing that song at my wedding. So I already knew we weren't a match. That's not gonna be my wedding song. So that won't it. But he was doing entirely too much too soon, repeatedly, So, but he had marriage on the brain, and it was fine if that's what you want to be. But when someone is almost in that instance, at that time, I think I was like 20, 21, early 20s. So I wasn't thinking about marriage. Let's just be honest. I wasn't thinking about marriage at that time. So, you know, it was too much for me. Like, that's not what I was thinking about. But it's fine if that's what you want. But if somebody is that far into that mindset and they're almost like, I don't want to say necessarily desperate, but they could be desperate. Or they want it so bad it could almost be anybody. Like, they got some issues anyway, and they need to work those through, and you kind of don't want to be caught in the midst of that. They got some things they got to work on. But that's just an example of being too honest. You can scare somebody off. Like, you can. I think the final point that I want to make, number 5, is not holding someone accountable. Now, this usually isn't like date 1, maybe date 2, maybe after you've been talking for a little bit. But when you start to learn that person, and oftentimes we get some red flags early on. Often. Not always, but often. And I guess it can kind of go in reverse too, because if I don't hold myself accountable and holding that man accountable, then I failed. And number 5 is not holding him accountable. So, you know, if it's some red flags, and that doesn't mean like instantly like nagging or be like, hey, you said you were going to call me at this time, you didn't call me at this time. Like, it might be doing a little too much too soon, because remember, you're dating other people. So it's not going to bother you that much if he doesn't call you, right? Right? Shake your head with me, say yes. I'm dating other people, so I didn't even notice that call didn't come through. That's not what we're talking about. But, you know, if you kind of catch someone maybe in like a slight lie or, you know, something doesn't add up, you know, and you kind of notice it, but a lot of times we'll just kind of brush it off or make ourselves believe it wasn't what it was. It wasn't what it sounded like. So you just overlook it, you know. But that is only a recipe for disaster later down the line. Because when you start to overlook things, you are cheating yourself and you are telling yourself these things aren't what they seem. And when your feelings aren't in it yet, that should be the easiest time for you to pick up on things and be able to vocalize that something doesn't add up, something isn't right. And to speak on it, you know, speak on it. Because, you know, people fly under the radar way too much because they're like, oh, well, I got over on her with this. Let me try it again. Let me try this. Let me try that. And it gets worse. It will get worse. So you can hold him accountable. You know, if he planned a date for y'all and, you know, you had to make some arrangements to be available for that date. And maybe he was just kind of lax and maybe, you know, having to cancel the date or reschedule the date. You know, it's okay for you to let him know that, you know, my time is valuable. You know, if you couldn't make it, you needed to let me know sooner. You know, and that's okay. And we're not saying you gotta say it in a nasty way, but you definitely want to stake your claim and let him know, like, you know, because if you're just like, oh, it's fine, no, it's okay, he's gonna keep doing it, and you just gonna keep taking it. That's just what it's gonna be. But again, that can go both ways, because if you choose not to hold somebody accountable, or putting your foot down and say, okay, you know, you can give people a couple tries. I mean, things happen. Give people, as long as it's reasonable. You know, you gotta use your judgment. But as long as it's within reason, you know, you gotta be able to say, okay, you know, maybe this happened. Okay, all right, you know, kind of pay attention to you. Okay, it's strike 1. You know, something else may happen. Okay, now to strike 2, you know, and depending on the time frame. But to be like, you know what, I think maybe you're a little too busy for me. You got too much going on. I don't think dating is your thing right now. So I'm going to just go ahead and call this quits. Make the decision. It is not always the man's decision whether it is working, you know, and whether it should continue. Because again, you know what your needs and wants are because you didn't tell him. So if it's not adding up to what you know, you make the decision. So, you know, that's what I have for you. But I don't think these are all the points. And these are kind of blanket statements, you know. So, you know, there's more to them. There's definitely more parts to them. But I think these are definitely some key points that women kind of make mistakes in, especially in the beginning with dating. But again, y'all got to take that quote. Take that quote. use it in your life, okay? And I promise you, it will make a big difference. It will make a big difference. Let that man be who he is, and then you decide if it works for you. But you don't put the power in his hands first to make it seem like he's the one for you. Don't let him take that power from you. That power is yours. But that's all I have for you guys. But I think it is some genuine information and advice. I think you should write it down. Like I said, save this video, like it, thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, because there is going to be a lot more to come. A lot more. I definitely want to keep this going. I definitely want to keep talking to y'all. And if you have any topics that you want to talk about, leave it in the comments below. I want to hear from you. But definitely like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you for coming to my first video, but not my last. We will see each other again. I love you guys. Bye.